Well, everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Portrait of the Queen, a new documentary focusing on Queen Elizabeth. And this is from director Fabrizio Ferri and narrated by Charles Dance, and focuses on how Queen Elizabeth II was the most photographed and most loved and talked about of the royals, the woman on the planet. And this focuses on all these different photographers, how they shot her, how they got these iconic pictures. So it's an interesting lens to be taking a look at this very famous and iconic royal. I think Charles Dance as a narrator is pitch perfect. It was an interesting choice. He's basically like a floating head, just black background and everything. All you can see is his face. It was dramatic. I think it worked. This documentary is lean at like 80 minutes, and more or less, I think it does capture the iconography of just who Queen Elizabeth II was. It does capture the scope of how much of an impact she made. You're not really learning too much about her in terms of like big broad strokes, but you know, you learn little things about her personality from how each of these photographers interacted with her. And I think this film does a nice job of having this structure of like, you have a photographer, they tell their story, their anecdotes, their experiences. It moves pretty well. It is both interesting in the way that it captures like how to take photographs and how to really capture a human being in a photo, but also, you know, who Queen Elizabeth was and what you can garner from these experiences and these little anecdotes. There's not much else to this film. This is the film. I think it does a fine job of capturing Queen Elizabeth. I think it does a fine job of helping you get a better understanding of photography and the art that these different photographers really lean into and really hone in on as their craft. And in general, it's a pretty easy documentary to take in, not that long, moves pretty well. So in the end, I think this is a rock solid documentary about the Queen. And, you know, I think a lot of people are still riding high on like the fact that like she passed away after all of these decades. So if you're missing Queen Elizabeth, here's a little snippet of her experiences through a camera lens. But those are my thoughts on Portrait of the Queen. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.